Monday Night Football. The Minnesota Vikings are on the road to take on the Los Angeles Rams. My best bets are on the way. In this video, I have my favorite player prop as well as the spread or total that I would bet on in this game. We'll talk about it at the end of the video. If you are new, my name's Austin from Calling Our Shot. Before we dive into those things, I do want to address this game because as a whole, this game is a little bit tricky. As you probably know, this game has been moved from Inglewood, California to Arizona due to the California fires. And it's hard to even load up any social media app and not see the devastation that has been impacted by those fires and all the victims, people that have lost every single thing. And while I'm just a dumb guy that comes on here, gives out sports betting picks, normally pretty successful at doing it, I want to at least think of a way to give back to those people that have lost everything or know friends and family that have been impacted by it. So what we're doing for this video is that we are donating every single dollar that I make on the video. So every single dollar of ad revenue I make from YouTube, I'm donating back to a charity or organization that can impact and give back to those people that have lost everything. Because, man, the devastation is brutal. And it's obviously impacted the sports world, but just impacted people's day-to-day lives, which is obviously much more important than just stupid sports betting picks. But again, I don't really have a great way for you guys to get involved. You can obviously donate your own money, but you just watching this video is helping raise that number. And if you want to share it with your friends and help them join the community, heck, do it. So again, if you can do me one thing and you might know family or friends that have been impacted by the fires, let me know down below the best charity or organization to give back to. Obviously, you guys probably know a little bit better than I do. So again, let me know down below just the easiest way that I can, give back to people. It is absolutely devastating. So yeah, that's what we're going to do. Every single dollar. And I'll release that number in the divisional round, how much that money that is and what charity we're donating back to, obviously later on next week. Now, let's try to segue away from that and get into a more positive note. We're talking about some football. And obviously that's a great way to disconnect if you have been impacted by the fires. I know it's terrible, but let's disconnect and let's talk about this football game. Vikings versus Rams. I'll talk about my favorite player prop. Now, normally I'd hop into a recap of how we did in the previous day games, Saturday and Sunday's NFL playoff games. However, I'm recording this on Friday. Now there's a good reason for that. Our good friend Logan, who we'll talk to at the end of the video, actually gets married on Sunday. So maybe by the time you're watching this, he might already be getting married. I'm scheduling the video to be dropping mid-reception of his wedding. So hopefully that everything went status quo for the wedding. So I'll recap how all of our picks did next week, as well as the charity that we give back. So next week's divisional round, our first video, will have a lot to dive into. However, let's just get into our picks. And I know it's been a long intro. Favorite pick of the day, TJ Hockenson. I love him. Over 41.5 receiving yards, -115 on BetMGM, a 1-unit play. Now, obviously, TJ Hockenson is the tight end for the Minnesota Vikings. I'd play him up to about 44.5, maybe 45.5, probably as high as I would go for the Hockenson. Now, I really like his matchup on Monday Night Football against the Rams. Now, if we're just talking about this game from a standpoint of what are the Rams going to try to do when they come in here on defense, hey, if there's one guy you're looking at, it's Justin Jefferson on the other side of the field. Now, obviously, Justin Jefferson, one of the best wide receivers in the league, he will get his, but hey, you got to try to slow him down. And while he had a bad week against the Lions last week, heck, the whole Vikings offense had a bad week last week. Now, I really think this is a great spot to get back on the Hockenson train. Now, if you look at Hockenson so far this season, he has played exactly 10 games. Now, in those 10 games, he's over in 5 of 10. Not the best, not the worst hit rate. What I really want to isolate, though, is if you go down here, you'll see there's a lot of these games where he's playing less than 50% of snaps. So he was working in off the injury. They were limiting those snaps. So let's get rid of those games when he wasn't playing a ton of snaps. 50% of snaps we've seen over in 4 of 7. So a little bit better. Obviously, he's had some duds in here, 28 and 27 yards. And last week, I think he only had 8 yards or so. Really bad matchup against the Lions last week. However, he had 8 targets, and I really think he's going to be open a lot against the Rams. And here's why. The Rams on the season, pretty bad against tight ends. On the season, 62.6 yards, 5.9 receptions, both near the top of the league. They've been pretty bad at defending opposing tight ends. And if you were to isolate that, let's just say, so we don't care about the earlier season stats. You just look at since week 10, they've been pretty bad in terms of tight end targets, 4th most, receptions, 3rd most, and yards have been, right near the top of the league. And we've seen the matchups where Hockenson has dominated. It's been against the Bears. And it's been against the Packers. I mean, this game against Falcons, sure, he barely squeaked over. Well, look at the matchups. The teams that he's played well against. Packers are right here near the top of the league, and so are the Bears. But they're none are as high as the Rams. So, again, I really think this is a great spot to back a guy like TJ Hockenson, who is capable of getting open. And we saw in the first matchup between these two teams, he did not play. Justin Jefferson had 115 yards. But Josh Oliver, their tight end in that game, had 30 yards. Here's their other tight end, Johnny Munt. He had 1 catch. So again, those guys only commanded 4 targets. That's not going to be the case for TJ Hockenson. He has a receptions line at 4.5. So again, I really think this is a great spot to back him. I really think he's going to be targeted a ton. If I'm Sam Darnold coming into this playoff game, obviously I want to get the ball to Justin Jefferson, but there's a good chance that he's seeing a safety over the top. We've got to look other ways. And if I'm him coming off a bad game, do I want to chuck it deep on one-on-one coverage to a guy like Jordan Addison? Maybe not. Maybe instead I'm looking for my trusted, reliable tight end right over the middle. Hockenson would be that guy. And I really don't think the Rams have a great matchup for him. So I really like TJ Hockenson. I think he's in for a terrific spot against this Rams secondary. I really like his over in receiving yards at 41.5. He's my favorite play of the day, favorite one for Monday Night Football. My only play. I hope TJ Hockenson delivers a 1-0 night for us. Now I'm going to throw it to when Logan and I talked about this game. Now, technically, when you hear us talking about the game, we talked about it on Wednesday night when we recorded all of our game previews. That was with the assumption that the game was being played in LA, in Inglewood. Now, obviously, the lines have changed a ton, not really a big amount. So when we did talk about the game, we might mention road, home road, stuff like that. Not a really affects our picks at all. In fact, I talked to Logan. He's still 100% on the side that he likes. Anyways, I'll segue to that conversation when Logan and I talk about the games. Take it away. We are finally back with Logan to talk about our favorite spread or total pick in the final game of Super Wild Card Weekend. Logan, I hope you're doing great because we're about to talk about this Vikings and Rams game. It is a pick'em, so you could go either way on this one. Money line, there's a 1.5 point spread, high total at 47.5. These two teams played a month or two back. That was that weird Thursday night football game where Sam Darnold got sacked for a safety at the end of the game. It was a clear face mask. Pissed a lot of people off on Twitter. I recall that game as it kind of cost me some coin. But either way, Logan, what are you doing in this game? What are you feeling?
Yeah, so I again, kind of looking at the pick'em, we have to ask where we think there's a little bit of value. And again, there's something about it. I'm rolling with, to me, the better coach, the better proven veteran quarterback. I'm taking the Rams. In playoff mode, I'll go ahead and take the Rams at home in this one. The Vikings have had a great regular season. Have I questioned them a little bit throughout the season? I have. And I've always been kind of sitting back wondering, is Sam Darnold going to hit a little bit of wall of regression? He has at times this season. And I think unless you're a Vikings fan and you're too biased to see that, there are times when Sam Darnold gets a little happy feet in the pocket, maybe make a bad read. That happens every now and then. You make a bad read against Sean McVay and this Rams team, they're going to make you pay because they have so many explosive playmakers all throughout the field. And I think, and obviously with McVay playing at home, not necessarily a home field advantage because it's Inglewood, so it is what it is. But I really do think this Rams team is poised for a playoff run. I don't think they're a one and done team. I think this Vikings team is a little bit of a one and done team. They got it written all over it. You stop Justin Jefferson, you stop those Jordan Addison explosive 40, 50 yard shots down the field, and you're going to really take away what Minnesota's been doing well this year. That's those explosive plays. You limit that. Rams outright, and I feel great about it.
Yeah, I've been going back and forth on this because obviously as our resident Jets fan, every podcast needs one of those. I hate Sam Darnold, but I also love him. It's kind of a love-hate thing. I love to see him having success. Proud of him. On the other side, I have seen Sam Darnold at his worst. And what we saw in that Sunday night football game against the Lions looked all too familiar. I've seen that Sam Darnold before. However, coming on the road in the playoffs, I'm going to trust him. I'm going to go with the Vikings. I can't disagree with a single word you said. I agree. Sean McVay, Matthew Stafford, probably the person you can probably sleep a little bit better at night. And I back those guys. Man, I feel good about Sam Darnold here. I think that they're able to score on this Rams defense. And I don't know. It's something about the Vikings. Everyone keeps counting them out. They got punched in the mouth. Sure, I'll give them that. They got punched. They obviously didn't have any answers. I just don't think the Rams have the facilities to slow down Justin Jefferson, Jordan Addison, like a team like the Lions did. I mean, Amik Robertson had a masterful game. Their cornerback that stepped in there. I just have no faith in the Rams. I just don't. I get they got Puka, Cooper Kupp. They have a lot of dogs on their offense. Their defense has been suspect to me all season long. The Rams, their offense, you never know what you're getting. I know Matthew Stafford will do his thing. But again, I'll take the Vikings. I'm doing it. I'm going against you, Logan. I'm taking the Vikings on the money line. One of us has to be right. We can't both be wrong. I'll take the Vikings and trust Sam Darnold and hope it doesn't bite me in the butt.
Yeah, you better hope. You better hope he's being careful with the ball. because the Rams have a good secondary. They have guys to be able to really limit what Sam Darnold's looking for. They have also guys in that secondary that can maybe provide some uncomfortable looks to Sam Darnold. I don't think it's an accident how that Thursday night game played out. Yes, the fluky call, whatever. But given that scenario again, I'm thinking there's a better than 7 out of 10 chance that the Rams win this game. And that's kind of projecting my confidence in this one. I think the Rams do win this game. I think the Vikings are frauds with a capital F. So,
all right.
Now,
Tell them how you really feel. Hey, we'll see. We'll see. I am rooting for Sam Darnold and the boys to get it going. A little skull chant for you. That's what you deserve. I'll be doing this next week when we're recapping our picks. Sure. Hopefully you guys enjoyed. Hopefully you made a lot of money this Super Wildcard weekend. Logan and I will be back for the divisional round next weekend, and we'll see you guys then. Let's hope to make some more money for you. Peace.